back. It's like 80 degrees outside still. I ordered my grass, and we about to get this thing going.
Already
the greenery
beating you on that.
Yeah, I'm on it. Let's get it.
You're listening to the Hot Seed Podcast.
Welcome all. I'm Sean, along with my co-host Earl.
Yo.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
And you guys know what it is. We're just dads with mics, gamers with headsets, and a whole lot of unfiltered conversation. And as always, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seed Podcast. Be sure to listen, like, rate, review, share, and most importantly, enjoy on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite shows. And, of course, subscribe to that YouTube channel at the Hot Seed Podcast. We do appreciate all the additional subscribers who came off of the Hot Seed Podcast NFL Draft Watchcast that happened this past weekend. So we appreciate you guys there. We back again for another episode, a new season, episode 12. For everybody who didn't get that damn trivia question right, when we was doing the Watchcast, we were season 11. We're season 12 now. Yeah. Episode 146. The fellas are back in the building. Absolutely. How we doing, guys? How we doing? I haven't seen you. It's, I
feel like it's been a minute, right?
5 days, 6 days.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's been longer than that. I guess for me, it has.
What?
He was on the draft.
I know.
No, it happened Thursday. Today's Wednesday.
It was a joke.
It
was a joke.
Let's talk about the real joke. Somebody had us waiting to record because he was still playing COD. I watched this man log on. I watched this man jump in the game. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, bruh, he do not have time.
Because I'm trying
damn COD.
No, because I was trying to exfil, and when I got there, I actually got there before it was 7:30, but the plane just got off. The plane flew off. Yeah.
Whole time, bruh. I'm sitting there like, this guy here. Like, I can't. I see you. Mm-hmm. I see you.
I feel like it's a little bit of hate because of your situation right now.
Oh, yeah. Somebody hacked my account. Let's talk about that shit. Yeah, somebody done hacked my Call of Duty account to the point that I can't even play online, people.
You can't make a new one?
Oh, shit.
It's all my stuff is saved to my... I would have to make a whole new game.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, if you make a new one until they could situate the other one.
Oh, I don't... Activision is one of those joints where it's like... you can't call them or nothing. You got to just keep on putting in some damn stuff in their portal, some forms and stuff. So
that's why I said you might. It sucks. You might have to. You might have to just go ahead and create another.
I don't even know how to go about it because all my stuff, like I said, is linked through my gamer tag. So I think as soon as I load up my gamer tag, it's still going to tie back to that same thing. Thanks, COD. Thanks, Activision. This is more of an Activision problem.
Yeah,
you know what? This is not a shot at Dave. This is not a shot at Dave. Because Earl always gives me shit because he's like, you don't play COD because you're a buster. He says stuff like that, even though he knows why I don't play COD. But I'll play a lot of different games. And you know what? I ain't never had my account, hacked on any of my other games. So you know what, Earl? Screw you, buddy. Screw you. That's all I got. Sorry.
I know what that was for. I ain't get hacked.
Oh my goodness. Hey, before we get too deep into the episode though, real quick, just sending prayers out for my wife's dad. He's going through a whole lot right now. She's about to be away for a good minute. I'll talk to y'all more offline on that point. But just send some prayers out there.
Will do.
Man, look. Let me say something right there. Look, this is bro, we've been on this show now for 4 years now. And for everybody who's been with us for all 4 years, bro, you have seen us go from every single level of happiness, enjoyment. You have seen our lives unfold. The only thing you didn't see was somebody's child get born because all of us, our kids were already born. But from like family situations, personal situations. So look, we appreciate you guys just off that. That's not a bit. That's just you've seen everything happen.
Good, the bad, and ugly.
You can't get more unfiltered. You ain't lying. You can't get more unfiltered. So yeah, man. Good vibes, prayers, and blessings. What? Just do it. Do what? What are you doing, Earl? You cold? You put the AC on or something? No? You just changed shirt? Mid podcast, huh?
Nah.
So from prayers on Dave and the missus side to this ain't even a prayer for these folks. I don't even have what type of vibe or adjective or something you give to them. I know what I want to say, but because one day I may need these folks to help me in a situation, so I'm not gonna say it. But I'll just share the level of disappointment that I have in Baltimore City Police. Friday night, as I'm watching the NFL draft, and the pick came in for the Washington Commanders. They traded out of it, and when I wanted us to have Cooper DeJean. So I'm already feeling nice because my drink is in hand. I'm watching the pod. It's day 2. And, I'm in my feelings, kind of like Drake. We'll talk about that later. And then all of a sudden, it's a nice, cool night. We got people in the house, me and the missus, my son. I think we even had somebody at the house at the time. My neighbor. Yeah. All of a sudden we hear, it's like, dang, what the fuck was that? We go outside and we see this F1, this Chevy Silverado is plowed into our neighbor's Honda, like CRV or something like that. So the missus is sitting on the porch. She's like, damn, he hit the neighbor's car. And I'm looking and I'm like, I heard more than that. She's like, did he? I was like, did he hit your car? She was like, I don't know. Oh my God, he hit my fucking car. Cars were parked. This gentleman who lives on our street was clearly inebriated, plowed into the back side of my wife's car, and then hits our neighbor's car. We call Baltimore City Police. I call them. 30 minutes later, I call back. Hey, I called about because at the time I thought he was drunk. Hey, I think a drunk driver has plowed into our vehicle, our neighbor's vehicle there. It's been 30 minutes. Where the cops at? Okay, well, we get information again. Cool. Call them back. After the second time, another 30 minutes. I call it third time. Oh yeah, we got your call in there. We got some people. We have 2 calls in front of you. All right. This is at 8:30 at night. During the day, you cannot turn your head and not see a Baltimore City Police cop driving around, not doing a goddamn thing. We call them at 8:30 in the evening. No one's to be fucking found. Cop car finally pulls up. It's a cop and a chaplain. The chaplain was white. The cop was black. He comes up and says, hey, man, this was going on, so forth, so on. Cool dude, so forth. So they talk to the gentleman, who's a white guy, pull him to the side, stuff like that.
Sorry, stupid question.
Yeah.
A chaplain?
Yeah, the chaplain was. Because apparently the chaplain apologized because they just came from another situation. So that needed a chaplain. So that's how you know it was wild.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I'm like, why would it? All right, go ahead, continue.
I'm hearing shit coming over the walkie. And I'm like, yo, yeah, but it's still then I'm like, where's the rest of y'all police force? It's whatever's going on. But I tell the black cop, I said, look, I think guys, he's drunk. He got out the truck, he's stumbling around and shit. He don't look in a good situation. Now, mind you, I'm from the state of Virginia. If this shit called him there, they're gonna have 5-6 cops come out there off rip. Dave knows how this goes down. They had one fucking cop. I'm sorry for my explicitives, but this is how pissed off we were. Gets there, the cop talking to him, this, that, and the other. And he walks back over to us. He said, yeah, I don't smell anything, no alcohol, anything on him. And, his eyes, he's keeping eye contact. If I didn't see none, I really can't do anything. I had to call one of my good friends, Eric, because I wanted to, because of what he did in his previous life. Because I was so angry at what's happening. I'm like, they're not even giving this motherfucker a sobriety test, a DRE, or nothing. And then the fact that he comes out, he said, yeah, man, I think I blew a tire. I had already inspected the vehicle. No tire was blown. This motherfucker is clearly under the influence of either drugs, no sleep. I don't care what it is. And what made matters worse, the black cop looked like he ain't really want to do nothing at the time. And came back to us. He said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch him drive off and see how this goes. You fucking kidding me right now?
I'm going to watch him drive off.
This is what he
see
said.
See how it goes.
He already hit 2 cars, and then I'm going to let him get back in the car.
Wait, rewind. He probably hit more than 2. You got to add that part.
Yeah, because here, he hit the car, and we had moved the SUV because they had like a big dumpster thing they had in our parking lot, in our driveway, because we were removing stuff from our backyard. We were building some stuff back there. So this was the only time that car has ever been parked on the street. He hit it on his left side, but he had damage on the right side of his truck. So he hit some shit earlier that day. So he goes to try to move the vehicle. He's turning the wheel. The wheel, his tires don't even turn. So his steering is out. Not to mention, after he hit the vehicles, he tried to pull off, to where I snatched open the door and threatened to beat the shit out of him because he tried to pull off. Like, this is real facts. I'm not even
a black guy
or white guy. And when he tried to pull off,
that lives on the same street.
Yes, and they were like, Sean, he's trying to pull off. I snatched open the door. I say, motherfucker, hey, turn the truck off. Like, I thought I was about to beat the brakes off him and then as I'm standing there, I had to walk away. Everybody's asking me, are you okay? Because I'm watching the ineptitude of the cop. Not even the cops, because the chaplain's just there, whatever. I'm watching this happen, and I'm like, yo, I've seen y'all be more involved with somebody for a petty crime. And you just said that I'm going to watch him drive. You know what? All right. There's elections coming up. In Baltimore, they have a young mayor. Last name Scott, get his first name.
The brother with the fro.
Yeah.
I have not been impressed with him since I've been up here. I have not been. I feel like he's been a token at this point, because a lot of shit didn't happen in the Baltimore area that I'm like, I don't know how this is going, because shit ain't got better. You had this thing that happened down at Morgan State back during their homecoming. Like, shit ain't that better. Your police force, if this is what your police force is, bruh, I can understand why the shit happens in Baltimore like it does. Absolutely. And I know why my insurance is so high in Baltimore as well. Because all I got was a motherfucking card to give to the insurance company. And they left. That's that's my rant. Because I want to say some other shit, but yeah, I'm just going to not say that, because I may need to call them for some serious shit. One day, but yeah.
Do you have a ring or something? Or
camera and everything. I sent it to Dave. Dave saw the shit happen. Like, the shit was like
send that to your insurance. It'd be no question, because then their lawyers. Who is your insurance?
They didn't even have to ask. When we explained to them, they didn't ask for no video camera shit. He said, "Well, we got you." Baltimore is ranked in the top 10 of worst places to drive. When my son got in his little fender bender a few months ago, I talked to the cop then. I say, man, what's going on with the, because I see accident. What's going on with the driving out here? He's like, a lot to you, man. He was like we're number 2 in worst places to like drive. He said more times than not, when we pull people over, it's not even, we have to, we think about, hey, what caused it? We have to worry about them not having insurance. That's literally what the cop said.
Yeah. So probably what you're dealing with is you're probably just dealing with a bunch of cops that's probably dealing with it all day, every day, and they're just like, I don't really want to deal with
no accountability, bro. No. Shout out to the state of fucking Virginia.
Oh no, because they'll put you under the jail.
Because if your ass ain't got insurance, that's best believe. Hey, you know what? You ain't got no license, bro. Don't let state trooper pull up when you got no goddamn insurance.
Let me tell you, you drive 20 miles over the speed limit. That's reckless and dangerous.
You know what? I used to complain about that shit. I don't complain about it no more. I am over 40. Fuck these motherfuckers, man. This is some book. You know what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I ain't mad now because I drive the speed limit. So 20 miles over the speed limit, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What you got, Dave? Really back in, bro. Really back in. I'm sorry. What you got, man?
So Dave asked by the count. Is messing up. You didn't have to hit and run, and you caught the guy, but the cop ain't do nothing. Let me see if I can add something to it. Nah, Thankfully,
Hey,
nah.
you know what? You know what's crazy though? Anything I just said.
Hold on. I got a rant. Go ahead. I put in a $2 ticket yesterday, right? For the Knicks and the
Knicks in general should be your rant.
Nah, I ain't mad because that's the Knicks doing the Knicks stuff, but I'm happy with the Knicks because the Knicks is playing hard. So I ain't mad. So I put in this $2 ticket. Literally going into overtime, I was like, damn, I just need Jalen Brunson to hit another three. Well, it looked like they was about to end the game, and then Tyrese Maxey did some crazy stuff. So we going to overtime. So I'm like, okay, yes, I got a chance. The first minute in, or the first 30 seconds, I'm like, I just need a three. Jalen Brunson comes down, boom, like, yes. So I'm going crazy. I'm like, yes. I just flipped $2 and made 196. Heck yeah. Then I said, oh, fuck, I forgot. I put money line on there. I put the Knicks winning. And then in the back of my head, I said, they ain't going to win. Ain't going to win. Sure enough, they ain't win. So,
you know what?
That's my little, I mean, I ain't in the same level as y'all, but.
No, it's good. Man. I like that. It's a perfect segue. Because the same way you feel. And you know what's crazy? I watched that game. I'm not a Knicks fan. I don't have a dog in this fight. But there are two teams that I've been rooting for because I just like certain aspects of it. I love Tom Thibodeau. I like him. I like his coaching style. And I like the fact that he keeps beating the odds. Because they wanted to fire Tom Thibodeau a couple of seasons ago in New York. And, now, they on the, they got the best team probably since the Carmelo Anthony days, more than likely, maybe or not, something like that. And then they wanted, they try to blame him for what happened in Minnesota and Chicago, whatever. But all that being said, as I'm watching the game and you felt the same way, you were like, man, we win it. We got this shit in the bag. That's the same thing.
I never said that. This is New York. I never said that.
Some New York fans, they thought the same thing that they thought after Drake dropped that push-up this, and then Kendrick came out and dropped Euphoria, and he was like, oh, shit, we done fucked up. So, first of all, I want to say this. There was a pocket of people out there that after Drake dropped his two responses, he had push-ups and then he did TaylorMade. And TaylorMade was the one that now has since been pulled because it had the AI aspect of it that involved with Tupac. His estate was like, hey, bro, get that shit up out of here, pretty much. And they got pulled. But it was a pocket of people who thought Drake was really doing something. And then they were like, hey, what you gonna do, Kendrick? What you gonna do? Oh, Kendrick ain't responded in a couple of weeks. He must be this. He must be that. He ain't shit. And then Kendrick decided at 8:24 on yesterday. Was it yesterday? Tuesday? I guess it was yesterday. Yep, it was yesterday. 8:24 yesterday. And if you don't know what that 8:24 is for, go do your homework. And he dropped a 6-minute response to one Aubrey Drake, whatever his last name is. That shit, it was not a song. That shit was a response in the essence of battle rap, which is interesting because we've never, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, we've never really seen Kendrick in a battle rap state. Like he's had disses, stuff like that, but it's never been a back and forth battle type joint. He responded and he did not disappoint from the beat production and the lyrics alone. What you got, Mr. Dave? What you got, sir?
So let me actually backtrack before I get my response on it.
Go ahead.
You already knew that certain people were going to come out and kind of bash Kendrick's response in the first place, number one, because of how long it took to respond. And then number two, just because they're in their whole Drake vibe of things.
Right.
Drake can't do no wrong and nobody can battle against Drake.
Yep.
This is one of those ones that is going to be above people's head.
Mm-hmm.
How masterful the lyrics are on there. And the reason why I say that, and I'm not exaggerating, I listened to this over 20 times. Came out yesterday. I listened to it over 20 times, 6 minutes. And you have to break the joint down line by line.
Yeah.
Like there's no line that's taken off.
Yeah.
He spits 2 lines and then you got to stop the joint and be like, damn, bro. like this ain't right. Like I was feeling bad. That's how bad I was feeling bad. I was like, come on, man. No.
Yeah.
So if you haven't listened to it yet, it's a masterpiece because of how can I say it? How he slow walked it.
Yes, he did.
You hear that Teddy P come on, as Rick Ross said, you don't know nothing about that. You don't know nothing about that.
Mm-hmm.
And that joint comes on and, he's basically saying to him like, okay there, young fella, calm it down. I'm going to take it easy on you. And then, boom, it switches. And when that joint switches and it just keeps going up a level, he hit on things I didn't even think he was going to be talking about.
Man, listen.
Damn near forgot about the Pusha T joint. He didn't let you forget about the Pusha T joint.
Nope. Not at all.
Like, when he said that line about the Pusha T, out there, was it pushing P? Better worry about Pusha T before you worry about pushing up on me type shit. Like I was like, yo.
Pretty much saying, look, hey, you better off spending.
You didn't handle your last. Yeah, you said you didn't handle your last shit. Why you over here talking to me?
Yeah, he pretty much told him, hey, you better off dealing with Pusha T. Please don't fuck with me.
Yeah. And then when he sat back there and he broke it down from it's the one where he talks about the Parkinson's.
Yes.
Talk about things getting shaky, and you got to break that line down because
you know who he was talking about, right? You know who he was talking about, right?
I didn't know who he was talking.
He was talking about Jay Prince and Jay Prince Jr. That's what that line's about.
Oh shoot!
Yes,
that takes a whole nother level.
Yeah, so that's how Jay Prince, they've been involved in the whole Drake shit. So that's what that's about.
Man,
but when I say you said 25, I can probably I've listened to it that much and be like, oh shit.
So I missed that part.
Yes.
I was just giving them props off the line in general.
Yes.
But so but this is what I mean. You're gonna go back and you be like, oh, you know what? Yeah. I missed that. And that's what you call like lyrical genius.
Yeah.
I listened to Drake's joint and there was no hate on it. I was just like, okay. And Earl and I were sitting back on the mic talking with each other. And I was like, I don't know what people going so hyped about. But then I went back and I listened to it. I said, okay, he got off here. Okay, I understand. But here's the part. If you go back to one of our episodes that I told you, and he had the same feeling as me, he says in the diss joint, Kendrick does, like, I don't even like this Drake. Do your singing and dancing stuff. Like, don't try to come out. He says it in the diss.
Yes.
And I said that weeks ago. I said, maybe it's just me. I just can't take Drake seriously because when I look at him, I don't see anybody that I fear like that. You know what I mean? If DMX came out RIP to him with a diss track, you be scared shitless. Because you're like, yo, he gonna do this. Like, like these ain't just words. He's gonna do this. Nobody's looking at Drake like, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that. I might want to stop rapping. No, you don't get that feeling.
Only people, and mind you, for everybody who's new to this, you have the 2012, Drake was on Kendrick's Poetic Justice joint. That was 2012. Control dropped in 2013. And of course, when, Kendrick went out there and pretty much just sent shots at everybody. But he is the essence of what hip hop is. He didn't say anything inflammatory towards anybody. He literally said, loosely quoting, I'm usually homeboys with everybody who I rhyme with. In this case, I'm just trying to murder you niggas. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And after that, Drake did this track called The Language. And then that's when Drake got in his feeling because he was one of the people who got called out. And it's been like that type of turmoil since. And what Kendrick went in with this shit is like, I try not to this day. I'm working on me still. There's a couple people in life, I have to admit, even with all my Buddhism and all this stuff there that I hate. Kendrick hates this nigga. He absolutely hates everything. He said it
and he says it.
He says it, man.
and there's no subliminal joint about it.
And
he says it exactly.
Hey, shout out to DMX, bro, because if y'all remember, go watch the Breakfast Club interview that had DMX on it. God rest his soul, man. And they asked him about Drake, and he literally said, "Yo, I hate the way Drake talk. I don't like nothing about him. I hate the way he looked." So that was from, but Drake.
That's what Kendrick come out. Yeah,
Kendrick dislikes the shit out of him. But I said this a couple episodes ago that this is a thing that, and Kendrick hit spot on. Drake can be looked at as being, even though he's, and that shit don't give him a pass, as being a vulture on the culture, man. You call it what it is. And that's really at the end of the day what Kendrick has called him out on. Because I don't know when this happened. I guess you have to look back. There was a switch in Drake. All of a sudden he became this tough guy. And it started happening, and he started aligning himself with all these features, and even for all the dogs, a bunch of extra shit. So even Kendrick, one of them, he said, "I don't give a shit who you align yourself with." He shot at Yachty and all.
He said, "How many more black features you need to basically feel black?"
Right. Yes, just literally what he said.
He was coming at him like that.
Yeah. There is nothing subliminal about
nothing at all.
This is straight up. All, everybody, man. Move out the way, and let me show you why you waited a couple
nothing
minutes.
At all, man.
That man, listen,
yeah,
listen, because I can't forget this part. Once you thought it was over, and it wasn't.
Oh.
And at the end, when he attacks his non-fatherhood self, woo!
Yeah,
that's the no take back joint. That's equivalent to when I was telling you, look, I ain't for no Quavo, Chris Brown stuff, but when Chris Brown went and said the whole joint about everybody wish you were the one that died in there, I was like, oh, wait a minute, bro. This
hey, Chris Brown made that shit too.
Chris Brown said that to Quavo.
Yeah, he mean that shit.
He basically said, basically props to Takeoff because really everybody wished it was you that died.
Yeah,
and he says that in a joint. I'm like, look, now you done. That's some. I'm about to come get you stuff.
That's a beef that is not. I hope it does not end that way, but that's a beef that potentially may not stay on wax. I'm just gonna say that right now, but we'll move on. We talk about,
but the reason why I'm saying that is I kind of got those feelings when he went into the joint and he wouldn't let it go.
Yeah,
he was going through. Basically, he was stair-stepping it. Earl, you got to go and listen to this part. And at the end, he's just talking about the fact of fatherhood. He is basically this the reason why they respond so quick because I got fatherhood duties. You don't know nothing about that. And he goes about 10 lines straight. You don't know nothing about that. Like putting them to sleep, praying with your son. You don't know nothing about that. So and he's just walking, bro.
It's look, man.
Damn, bro.
You can people can sleep on the Kendrick stuff all they want. I know people want things that, get their asses out of the seats and they want the Drake shit. Just like me, y'all know my favorite rapper is Common. That's not for everybody. Hold on now. Don't be disrespectful. And him and Pete Rock got a new album coming out too because I'm fucking geeked about that. Yes, I'm geeked. But sometimes, man, you are what you intake. I'll say this. When people, I know there's people who like reality TV. My wife likes reality TV. It's fine. But when people take in so much of that stuff that their reality has become blurred, you have a problem. Like you are what you eat. You are what you take. If you listen, if you don't know so much, if you don't know nothing else but the shit that Drake does and Lil Yachty and all those cats there, and there has no substance to it, I don't care how you try to, explain it. The shit's not good for you. It's simple as that. And when you talk about hip hop, and this is something that somebody said, I forgot who it was. They said hip hop was born off of the essence of a beef. That's not how that shit started. And it was actually that's not how that started. That literally was not how that started. What we are hip hop right now, and this started maybe last year, Earl, maybe when all of the OGs started to drop. I guess it wasn't Nas, but somewhere around that time when Nas went on that run of dropping true hip hop. Yeah, like everybody was like, "Oh man, all the OGs are coming back dropping real hip hop." Because even the OGs was like, "Bro, this shit has gotten so sideways. I can't listen to no more of this auto tune, not talking about shit. This shit is not good." And I think that's where Kendrick got to. People don't like, his some of his album. I don't see how you don't, because the shit is. But he ain't that nigga, man. He ain't that nigga.
So I had to reserve my thoughts, some of my thoughts, because I haven't heard it and I need to listen to it. And I already know Kendrick is like Jay-Z, like Loaded Lux, like Black Thought, like where I have to listen to these people over and over again because you're gonna miss a lot of.
Yeah, all
miss a lot of things
for you, buddy. All the entendres that you love are there.
Yeah, but what frustrates me, and even not only listening to a piece of it, what frustrates me is that you hear the people that's from our generation and people that like hip hop that appreciate the essence of hip hop, which is the bars of hip hop and stuff like that. I've seen them favor this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't say like it because I haven't heard it, but I've seen them favor and say, "Yo, Kendrick was coming crazy." I'm talking about people from all walks of life. That's like, "Yo, hip hop is back. Thank you." But then you got the younger generation who is they're just trying to shake a tail feather. You know
they looking for a vibe.
They're looking for just a vibe, and yeah, that's not what Kendrick do. So I am a little disappointed that I felt like that Gilly was kind of quick to write it off. You know what I'm saying? But again, let me listen to it before I even go on that.
I think it's going to be one of those ones for Gilly, just to let you know, and then go ahead. It's going to be one of those ones that he's going to have to listen to.
Walk back. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, like I just think it just comes down to it's just the generation. Like it's funny. I was listening to Michael Eric Dyson today because I was listening to the Amanda Seales interview and she brought up Jay-Z and it just sparked me to think. I was like, "Yo, Jay-Z, man, Jay-Z has some bars." And because she was spitting one of his bars, I'm like, "Man, Jay-Z got some bars." And then I was like, man, it sparked me to go listen to Michael Eric Dyson because, I mean, I love to hear how he breaks down like Jay-Z bars. I just love to hear him talk. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that he said was, he was like, I had young people coming up to me saying, "Hey, Michael, I really like you. I really like your stuff, but man, you be using too many big words and I don't understand it." And his answer to that was like, I use big words because the people that I'm fighting, my people that I'm fighting for, and the people that I'm going head up against, they're using these words, and I need to know what they're talking about. And I was always taught that if you don't know what the word is, you need to look it up. And he was like, "You have no excuse not to look it up and do all that stuff now because you have the internet at your disposal." I used to have to walk to the library to get me an encyclopedia. Like, so it's like you have no excuse. So y'all are just lazy. So I say all that to say is that this generation of listeners is just lazy. Yeah. So even when I have arguments with cats that's like 10, 15 years younger than me, and I laugh at the people that they're like, "Yo, this is tough." I'm like, that's basic. Like,
and that's why I said I think Gilly's gonna have to go back and listen to it because it surprised me that somebody like Gilly would say that it was trash because he's a lyrical rapper. So much so people don't realize, if they don't realize, he's a ghostwriter for a lot of people. Gilly is for years. So that's why it surprised me in that sense, because I know somebody like him would take his time, like, let me really listen to it. This is how you know people, like, even ghostwriting is an art. I listen to Eminem all the time, and when he had the little thing recently with Benzino, and Benzino came back with this second diss joint, and everybody's like, "Damn, this joint pretty dope, but this don't sound like Benzino." And then it just came out. It wasn't Benzino. It was a ghostwriter that's a battle rapper. I'm trying to remember his name, Nestle. that Ghost wrote for Benzino to come back at Eminem. Everybody was like, yo, this is too good to be him. You get what I mean? So when I say that to say this, to bring it back to the difference in these. When I listened to the Drake joint, I was like I said, I had to listen a couple times, but I was like, okay, I can see where he got off here. I can see where he got off here and all those type of things. Go look at people. It's all over the internet. Jump on YouTube. There's people that sit back and they break down each and every line.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every line. And they can't go 2 lines without stopping the tape for Kendrick.
Yeah.
They can't go 2 lines. They stop and they're like, oh, wait a minute, bro. This is going to be a 45-minute video.
See, but here's when you just said something about Drake.
Yeah.
I'm never going to have that reaction for Drake because the validity is shot for him with me. It's already been known.
I agree.
It's already been known that he's had ghostwriters. Like he has people. So I'm like, no, I can't respect you, bro. So even if you do come out with some crazy stuff, I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't know if you wrote that, B.
Here's the thing with that, Earl. I'm not even tripping about the ghostwriting. And this is just from, and to be perfectly honest, it's from a lyricist. Fuck it. I'm not tripping about the ghostwriting. Even as a writer myself, even as the storyteller, as a writer himself. It's what the content of the writing is. See what I'm saying? Because, there's a lot of R&B people who have writers. Okay. Drake, okay.
That's different, though. That's different.
That's what I'm saying. But when you get into the things about, is a part of hip hop where you can be the LL Cool J type and it's more of a softer side of it, and you may need that. But when you start getting into the nooks and crannies of things and then just found out that you're using ghostwriters, that shit hit different. We're writing about our lives, the things that we've actually have seen, may have been involved with, stuff like that. But when you find out a person who's spitting those things, who've had ghostwriters for that, that's when I'm like, nah, bro, that shit ain't it. That ain't it. And then, they be like, wait, now you're telling the story of the person who's writing it for you, who may have done X, Y, Z.
Specifically a diss record, though. If I find out
you can't do a diss record.
Right.
If I find out that somebody wrote your diss record.
Right. And
this is it's instances like this that I'm like, this is where even though Drake is pop mainstream and he could live in that realm, right? But this was an opportunity for him to be like, I'm about to get my respect from the hip hop cats. You know what I'm saying? Even though some of them hate, they can say what they want. I'm like, yo, I'm here, but at the end of the day, I ain't ducking no fades. You know what I'm saying? Or no smoke. And I mean, he kind of showed where he was at when Pusha T had got at him, because Pusha T killed him.
But see, this is what he did, though. He did the thing that people with no substance do. He leaned into the I got more than you type thing. I got more money than you. And it's like some people in the black community. I got more than you, I got a bigger house than you, I got this than the other. But then, they can't season their food. There's no foundation. There's no substance. I'm being dead serious though. Like they lean on their laurels. Like, yeah, I got this, that, I got the other. But what was it? What was the old girl that was in the that was like a video talking about? There was like what the hell is her name? We're talking about Amanda Seals, but what's the other woman that we talk about every once in a while that be doing the Welcome to the WB shit? You know what I'm talking about? Earlier one we talking about. Yeah, and
Candace Owens.
Yeah, Candace Owens.
Yeah.
And they asked her, they gave her the little joint. It was like, if someone says God is good, and she was like, what did she say? God is great or something like that?
Yeah, God is good.
You're like, that's not how that, you see what I'm saying? It's like one of those things. So what Drake tried to do was, and a lot of his fans said, it's the same thing people do with Jordan and LeBron. Look what LeBron, a billionaire now, look at this. I'm like, look, that nigga is still number 2 in the GOAT conversation. At the end of the day, you can try to rationalize everything you want. He has the most points out of everybody.
We'll
yes, he's been playing. He's been playing for 21 years, but it's still not. But whatever.
Listen, we can move on, but I don't want to hear you say nigga no more.
It's spring. We outside. Mother's Day is right around the corner. Actually, it's about a week or so away, and somebody's grilling. That's where Instacart comes in, North America's largest online grocery marketplace. From your favorite food needs to alcohol, Instacart will connect you with a personal shopper in your area to shop and deliver your order and stay safe with contactless delivery with their Leave at My Door option. So, to receive a free delivery on your first order over $35, just follow the link in the show notes to let them know that the Hot Seed Podcast sent you. Instacart, so you don't have to go to the store. Yeah, it's the Hot Seat Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. Let's jump right into it, man. I'm not gonna lie, I did not watch the entire interview for the Amanda Seales Club Shay Shay interview, but I know quite a bit about Amanda Seales in that case, so I'm gonna be leaning on my guys here. And
go ahead and start it off.
I know Dave put me onto it first. So, Dave, what we got?
So, I'm going to lead in this way. As Sean said, some people already have their preconceived notion about Amanda Seales in the first place.
Right.
And I think that's where this started to steer the wrong way. If you haven't seen it, Shannon Sharp has a great podcast that I watch all the time. So this is no slight to him in any type of way. And I'm still going to watch it. But there's sometimes when that elevation to success, in this case, gets you a little bit outside your lane and you get too comfortable. That's the best way I can explain it. And there were parts of this interview, because what his podcast is known for is kind of like how we try to get the feel here on the fact of unfiltered conversation. This is an open space. Just go.
We ain't got no index cards though, but keep going.
No. But this is what I mean as far as the people there, the guests.
All right.
Just go ahead and talk. Well, I don't think he was ready for Amanda Seales. Because when he opened up that gate, she definitely walked through it.
Yeah.
And he couldn't close it back. And he was trying so many times to kind of sway the direction of this conversation. Yeah. And there's an art to that. A lot of people think it's just simple conversation, but there is an art to it. We've said it so many times when we had guests on. Some of the best things is the fact that we'll come in with things written down, but off of what somebody says, we'll pivot. No pun intended to that podcast. We'll pivot and we'll sit back and we'll let that lead our way into the conversation. The reason why I'm long-winded on this, because you got to understand where it was coming from to where it went to. So Amanda Seales, I will say, this is the biasness of how people come into it. People will see it as she gives off a woe is me attitude. Everything is, hey, look what happened to me. This is what happened. Hey, cry for me over here. Hey, so-and-so. And it always seems like also steered towards either a woman issue or a black and white issue or something like that. Okay. Well, within this interview, there were certain things that Shannon was asking her about. And like I said, she dove both feet in and she went deep into these conversations. He was trying to steer the conversations, but then I think he found his way into something he didn't want to do, but he did. And it started like taking sides on things and started pushing his thoughts about certain situations that he had no part of. You're listening. There's an art to listening. You can't tell me my story, especially if you weren't there. And that's
how
where
I
it started to go. Yeah, or how I should feel. No matter how you think it should have went. Right. You weren't there and you're not me. So let me tell my story. And then but it started becoming combative in a way, an uncomfortable, combative way. So I'm gonna let Earl go from here, but that's where we're at within the conversation.
So there's a couple of things. I'll say this. From what I know of Amanda Seales, I mean, I follow her. I don't want to say extensively, but she's come up with things that I've been interested in. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like I knew about the Flo with She situation. She ain't been there long enough for me to remember seeing her in it, but I remember hearing about it a little while ago.
Yep.
So I was actually happy to get a little bit of clarity on that. You know, I remember her from as early as my brother and me. That's where I first, knew of her. But I didn't know of her until later in the, later down the road. I'm like, oh, that's the little girl that was on? Cool. Or whatever. So a couple of things, right? Because I want to take this conversation to a couple of different rounds. First, let's kind of talk about what Dave was talking about. Shannon Sharp respectfully came off very ignorant in this interview. The first piece of ignorance that he said that I was just like, are you serious? When she was talking about her experience at Disney or whatever when she first got there. No, I'm sorry. No, not even that. When she was talking about when she was in the classroom, and she was, she was saying that she was in this class. She wasn't a problem child.
Oh, the teacher.
But the teacher, right? The teacher had called the parent because it was, and then it went to the principal's office, and it's like the principal thought, yeah, okay, we're here because she's a disciplinary. She's like, no, she is a work issue. No, he said we're here because she corrected the teacher in front of the other kids. Now, the thing that got me upset is that he immediately said, well, you don't see the problem with that. And then he goes back into how he was raised, where he said, well, I'm from where I'm from. It's, like kids.
We don't talk about it.
Kids
don't correct our parents.
Are to be seen and not heard. You know what I'm saying? And then that made me think, and I was like, what I want people, he's smarter. I'm giving him more credit. He's smarter than that. Just because that's how we were raised, just because that's what we were influenced on and how we was brought up, it doesn't make it correct. If a teacher is wrong, a good teacher would want her kids, or he would want his kids to show that, and Mr. So-and-so, Miss Song, no, you made a mistake. That's actually not correct.
And it shows that they're paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's you don't want to keep kids in the box. And at the end of the day, teachers are not the holders of all information. What they're there for is to try to help you unlock your own potential. But that's not to say that they have all of the answers. She felt some kind of way because a kid corrected her and she happened to be a black kid and she was a white woman, and you're talking about a race matter, and you felt some way because you felt that this little black girl had undermined you in front of the rest of the class. But with the Shannon Sharp is sitting up here, he's up here defending this, and I'm like, yo, dog, how many of us have gotten ass whoopings? You know what I'm saying? Coming up. But that
every
was the
story he had an excuse for, Earl.
Yeah, and I'm like,
every story she said.
You got an ass whooping, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's right, that that's the only way. How many males have raised their kids, especially boys, to not show emotion or to feel like emotion is a sign of weakness? It's not. And then when you grow up, you end up holding all of this stuff in because you don't know how to express yourself. And guess what that comes out? And it comes out in the form of you having health issues, or you picking up this vice and that vice, and now you're passing it on to your kid, and now the cycle completes. Like, it was straight ignorance. That one really pissed me off. Then there was another issue where it was something else. Dave, you might be able to help me.
Was it the party?
Oh yeah, okay. So all right, so no, let me not even get there yet. The other piece was the autism thing. That shit had my blood boiling. And just for the, listen, if you haven't, like I've worked with that population for over 10 years. So they're near and dear to my heart. So I understand, I understand in some ways the psyche, and I can't say all the way because I don't live that, but I've worked with that population, so I can understand. So when she was saying, I've just been diagnosed with autism, for me, I was like, okay, now you know what? Makes sense. It makes complete sense. So everything that I had, any issue that I had in terms of like her personality, I stepped back a little bit because now I got clarity because I understand what that looks like. When you're talking about somebody who's autistic, you see things black and white. There is no gray area with a lot of it. There's no in between. It's black and white. When she was talking about like how she couldn't sit still, how she would line things up, how she wanted to be, accepted in certain things. She didn't understand. She like when you having conversations, and I think she was even saying when she got a therapist, the therapist explained to her, like, look, you may be right with that, but you don't have to necessarily express, your issues with that every single time. Sometimes you got to learn how to just let people go. And that's the social cues. So it's no shock to me that, and this is the one thing I picked up, because this is one thing I really haven't heard her say, but again, now that because I see that she has autism or has been diagnosed, it makes sense. She never really said, you know what, I don't realize how I come off, or took responsibility to say that maybe I am, or I do this. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm wrong with that, I apologize. But I watched that thing and I don't remember her saying that. But it makes sense. And my thing is like,
but you got to explain what the actual conversation is between both of them about autism. Do you remember that?
Well, yeah. It was something about when
she said something about the autistic spectrum.
Right.
And then
it was like he wasn't believing, like, are you really diagnosed? Or
he challenged it.
Yeah, like
he's like, you either are or you're not. And I'm like, wow, bro.
Like, yeah,
she can't even.
It was almost like he didn't think like that was a real diagnosis. Like if you got cancer or something like that. As if it was like, nah, it's just a rash. Like it'll go away if you like kind of minimizing it. And that was his ignorance, and what I would like him to do is to go back and do some work to educate himself on that, because he was sounding very, very ignorant. But just going back to like what I feel bad about her with, because even before I seen this interview, and this is why I kind of wanted to hear what Sean's perspective of her was without seeing this interview. It might have been like mine. I thought she was cool, but I always felt like she has a strong personality. And I felt like she's the one that, all right, look, we in here, like, yo, sis, you fight the power. I feel you. But it's like everything don't gotta be a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, relax a little bit. Everything don't gotta be a fight. And that's what it comes off with her. You know what I'm saying? And now it makes sense a little bit, because maybe she wasn't, picking up on some of the social some of the social cues or whatever, that was being thrown at her. Maybe she wasn't maybe when she's had so many of these issues with people, maybe she didn't realize like how she was coming off. She probably intentionally didn't mean anything negatively, heart of hearts, but maybe how she came off might have came off like, where people don't, perceive you. Like they don't, it's a negative way and they perceive it. And that's why I was like, the one thing when I heard
this
a lot
image
of
got me spazzing out right now. The way
I know, I'm sorry. The one thing that I like, that I was trying to understand is like, there's a lot of issues that she's had with people. And I'm like, yo, you don't have them issues with too many people, and none of that is your fault. So that's the only thing that I'm just like, all right, well, you might, there's some work that has to need to be done with that. But also too, again, wow, that ain't fixed nothing.
I think you might got like a smudge or something.
There you go.
It is. Okay. Like,
what is happening? This
is what I got. And this is something that
I had a silence.
We talk. You hear the word "be intentional." We familiar for that? It said be intentional with what you do and what you say. And we also hear the phrase, someone's perception is their reality. And I think that is what she's become, unbeknownst to her, a victim of. Mm-hmm. Her perception of things and her being intentional has been held against her. And sometimes, we want this from people, or people say they want that from people until it actually happens. Like another time, they're like, call a spade a spade. Until you really call a spade, they be like, oh, wait a minute, that's too much. That's too much right now. There's a lot of things that, we're just looking from, we're the outsiders looking in. And we've even had a conversation about Monique and there's things that has been said about her until you've seen a couple of other interviews and be like, and then you've seen people that she's talked about kind of like fumble around or what their response is. You'd be like, oh, case in point. We were talking about Club Shay Shay. We talked about Cat. Everybody who is something will tell you that Cat is crazy. We're talking about Cat Williams. Cat's this, Cat's that. Until Cat start putting shit out there and she start coming to light, you'd be like, oh, but see, those in the public take it as gospel. Going back to Drake. Drake has all these things. People believe it to be true. Pick a person who has all these things and they believe it to be true. Cat calls them out and people are like, nah, Cat has to be lying or something like that because XYZ has this. I think she's in that space. I think she doesn't have as much, what's that word I'm looking for? Like when you want a certain level of, she doesn't have a certain level of decorum when she comes out there. She gonna tell you like, look, hey, bro, that shit ain't right. She's not gonna pull you to the side and say this ain't this. She was talking about Marsha Ambrose. She was talking about the beef her and Issa Rae had going on. A lot of these things that you talked about, and then even like when you start breaking down to the autism aspect and stuff like that. And then she even talked about, why is Earl in here twice? I'm not even sure why he's trying to be here twice. Even talked about the racist aspect, her being light skinned and stuff like that. And then you have people responding, well, she's not really light skinned, bro. From a light skinned brother, I know how it feels to be treated differently than my dark skinned cohorts. I can tell you plenty of stories.
But that's the piece, is that piece that ties back into the autism. And remember when I said,
you just call me autistic?
No. I'm just saying, like, where you're saying, like, she's not picking up on certain things. And I'm that ties back in because a lot of individuals with autism see things in black and white.
Right.
It's like, it's like they can't understand and make the connection between that. And mainly it's like picking up on the social cues. Like, she might come off. And I think this is what actually happens. She might come off in a manner that might be perceived as this and this and that, right?
Confrontational stuff like that, yeah.
Right. But in her heart of hearts, that's not her intention.
And
you know what I'm saying? And then I think with the piece of it, and this is why I feel bad. And then she also touched on the fact that when she was talking about, like, she kind of felt like in some ways like she's lonely, and she was like she tuggled with, the suicide situation. And I can understand. I can't understand that, but I can sympathize with that because I'm like, it's hard being in an industry where in some ways you kind of got to be liked in order to get ahead. And in the field, like, I'm not doing anything malicious to people. Why don't people like me? And that is magnified even more when you have a way of thinking where everything is black and white and you can't understand the gray and how you might be perceiving it coming on. That's how I felt horrible.
Is it better to operate in the black and white or the gray? And I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna say this, and this is something that we all three of us will explain. Understand. So you and I just bought a house over the last few years, right?
Yeah.
Black and white. We want our realtor or loan officer who makes people say, look, hey, either you are approved for this house or not. And think of it as a car too. And I'm gonna wrap it to this. Either you're approved for this house or you're not. The gray is how much are you approved for? What I mean by that is, okay, if you're approved for it, doesn't mean I'm gonna have a relatively comfortable interest rate. Well, I'm not approved of it because my credit is fucked up. Right. But in a lot of cases, you have the case, well, you're approved for it, but, and I think this may actually go better with vehicles because I'm familiar with on the military side. Yeah, we can get you approved for this Nissan Altima, but it's going to be at an interest rate of 24%.
Right.
Am I better not being approved for this at all?
But you know, so to answer your question, it's not even really if it's better to be in the black and white.
That's the gray.
Well, it's okay. Well, yeah, okay. It's more so if you prefer the black and white, do you understand the gray? If that makes sense.
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference if you are just a black and white and you just don't even understand that a gray even exists. That's completely different. Right. That's where
you don't choose to.
Or you don't choose to. Right.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah. Gotcha. She didn't understand. She has the capacity to understand it now because she's very smart and she has that capability. But somebody had to steer her into that direction because there was a piece of her that it was always there. She always said something ain't right. But now it's like she has clarity. You understand what I'm saying?
But see, my only thing on it, and not to cut you off, Earl, my only thing on it was this. And I go back to my first point. When people are talking about different situations like that traumatically affected them, I'm not here to judge it. I'm not here to take no sides. I'm not here to do any of that. Whether you think things are right or wrong, or they may be kind of, fabricating whatever, that ain't, you get what I mean? Like, right. Especially on certain things like that, I'm not here. And it just seemed like he was overstepping that boundary into, man, this is an uncomfortable take.
but you know what? And you could tell, and I hope anybody that watches that had any perceptions of what somebody is with autism, like I hope they really do they research and do their due diligence, especially as we just ended Autism Awareness Month. Autism is a spectrum. Mm-hmm. People on different spectrums, you know what I'm saying, of what
and that's all she was saying. Yeah.
And, right. Like, she is somebody who is extremely high functioning. You understand what I'm saying? And I feel like here where the ignorance comes in that is that people feel like individuals that have autism looks one particular way.
Right.
So that's why I felt like he was coming at her and saying like, well, do you really? Because I think
you don't look like it to me.
Yeah, in his ignorant ass mind,
right.
He's like, well, you don't look like. I'm like, well, what do they look like? Albert Einstein had autism.
Let me ask you a question about this. Are we starting to venture down a path to where now, after the success of the Cat Williams interview, that this show is going to start to venture down a path of who can we get up here to match the viewership that we had with Cat Williams? Because I know for a fact that they're looking at these numbers. They talk about it all the time.
I'm not saying
be honest. Because
I'm keeping stat. I'm not going to say that they're looking to try to top Cat Williams, but I think what they are doing is they're saying, you know what? After that Cat Williams, this is going to be the outlet that I don't care what the situation is. Like, anybody got any issues, we're gonna welcome them. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that you're trying to top Cat, but I'm just saying, like, you know what? If there's controversy, or if it's something that other people might be a little scared.
You just said everything I just said.
I think on any business mind, you're always trying to top your biggest thing.
Right.
I think we would be naive if we were saying that we're not. But this is what I will say too. I think, and we spoke about this plenty of podcasts before. This is when we were talking about the whole Kanye West stuff.
Right.
There's certain things that I just hope on his side specifically that they don't start giving platforms to. Because then we get past the joke stuff. You get what I mean? Like, things can be serious, don't get me wrong, but some of that stuff could have went really left. if that's the same way he handles some other people too, because this is the level of uncomfortableness it was getting to. I don't know if you caught it, Earl. She was giving the look back, and now, knowing how the train of thought is going, like, you're just like them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the mental state that could put you in?
Did you see her body language?
Yeah.
When she started doing the lean and just they was talking, I think they was talking about the teacher thing. And he felt like he was trying to say, he kind of felt like he was talking as her uncle, elder statesman, like, all you gotta do, sweetie, is just do this. Yeah, and she just looked, but
she never did the cat.
No.
But she never did the cat.
And she just looked at him with this blank stare as if like,
yeah, I'm telling you,
like,
that blank stare
I
was
everything.
There's no point of me talking because you're just like them.
Exactly.
You
look like me.
The thing that's not happening, just following up on this, that's not happening off of that is you had a lot of people come to the defense of Cat Williams. You haven't seen that with this interview. That I did look up there. You've seen more pushback against her, so much so that people said shit like this. And this is the part that when I say that I don't like about this media aspect. Again, we do our guests here. We have our guests up here. We don't have no index cards and none of that shit. Like we might have we want to ask about certain things, but it's a conversation. It starts saying people are starting to say us, and the social media starts to push it. I've seen read a few other things as well from people who are notable that it's kind of like you're biting the hands that feed you. Be happy that you are where you are. That's when that shit gets. I don't like that aspect. And that's when I say, let's see how these other guests starts happening or start coming on to Club Shay Shay. Because now you can see it if it's become hey, how can we replicate what happened with Cat Williams? That's the one thing I will say, and this is we're not getting paid to say none of this stuff. The one thing I will say about the pivot, right? Y'all remember the episode they had Michael Beasley on, right?
That was
Michael
probably one of the dopest ones.
And you know what? Yep. They could have done something like this. They could have done something. They
handled it correctly.
And they could have followed that up with a bunch of other things like that. They have not. It's been concise. We all listen to that show. I fear just looking at this interview, and I watched about half of it. And then coming off a Cat and some other, I fear this is where things may start to go because now you're bringing in something. Hey, who can we get up here next to give us that clicks? Because everything gets clipped down, and then now you're just feeding into the machine that she's talking about. You're feeding into what Cat's talking about, whether you believe it or not. But what's going to happen is, since you're the person with the platform, they're going to be like, "Well, he's just doing his job." And they're just hating because no, this is what they are talking about, and you just become another cog in the system. That is this cycle of things.
Like I said, bro. Like I said, it's a great podcast. So I'm not here to slight him at all.
It absolutely is.
And I clap it up for that man because he's come a long way. Absolutely. A long way in a little bit of time. But I just, just for anybody, it could have been John Smith. I would have sat back there and said the same exact thing. Like, bro, like you didn't watch this back and go.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all I'm saying on it.
I think the thing that like the pivot does, and this is why I think Ryan is so dope, is that one, he does his homework. You don't see him sitting up there with a bunch of cards. Like, he does his homework, right? And he's intentional. And then two, he picks up on when certain things are happening. He might have had a certain question and he would pivot
to something else.
Like, perfect example with the Beasley situation. Like, they had no idea that was going to go that part. To the point where they was just saying, like, yo, listen, even Channing, if anybody watched that podcast, and is a great one.
Channing, my guy.
Channing is a fool. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that in the sincerest form of flattery. Like, he's a fool. Like Shannon is the one that sit up.
He brings
there
that energy. Yeah,
he'll bring the foolish energy. Like he's the one that sit up there and talk to you about sex and what you doing with your wife and girls and stuff like that. But even he had to take he took a turn and he was like, "Yo, hey man, listen, I know we don't know each other like that, but." I think it was either him or
it turned into sincere.
But it was like, yo, why don't you come hang with me? Come to the house.
Yeah.
Come kick it with my kid. You got your daughter. Come, you know what I'm saying? And it was sincere.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it was like the human aspect came in. And I just felt like with Shannon Sharp, I think he needs to do a better job of picking, even if you're not vast in that area, you still got to pick up on some of this stuff. Like, come on, bro.
To transition out of this, I will say the same. Again, they may not see this show, but that same energy as far as picking up on, on reading the room. I'm gonna need for him to pass some of that reading the room energy off on his man's too, Stephen A. Smith, because
oh shit,
I'm gonna leave that shit alone.
You want to talk about it? You want to talk about it?
We're not.
Can I just say just one thing?
That's the boy Sean Earl, Dave. You're not gonna do it because it's gonna take us down.
But why would you even bring it up? And then it's like
that was a segue.
That was horrible. I'll just say this. I don't know why people are shocked. That's it.
Fair enough. So look, that's a good segue into this though. I don't know why any of us are shocked that there is a changing of the guard in NBA. We've seen in the last couple of weeks. That one Steph Curry, the greatest shooter there is, has been sent home. LeBron James, this generation's GOAT, and Kevin Durant, not even the second best player on whatever team that was, sent home as well. They all have been sent home. And there's a changing of the guard. And I really like the question to be a change of the guard because, well, I guess it will be, depending on who we talk about. I will say this. Let's see who follows him. And I'll say the change of the guard, I think, because Dave bring this up. Because we're talking about Ant-Man out in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. We got Jokic out in Denver. Mm-hmm. Those two come to mind right then. Shea Gildress and maybe OKC, them all together. And then we still have mainstays like Kyrie's and those guys out there who are still playing at a high level and still have they still have the ability to perhaps compete for a championship. I'll say this, is the NBA changing, a change of guard happening where it's changing not back to, but kind of moving away from this what's you want to call it? What's the
mega teams?
Yeah, not the mega teams, but what's the thing they play in? All these young kids, they play in the travel ball. What's that shit called? And we get back to cats actually being hungry and actually wanting to go out there and be that guy.
I think I don't even want to say it's like the changing of the guard. I think it's just really changing of the fact that you have like real teams that's being built. You know what I'm saying? It's not like how it was the last 10 years where you have the pool of stars that try to let me see who I can play with. And then you go crazy because you're like, oh wow, this person is playing with this person. But this person playing with this one doesn't necessarily translate to chemistry, which translates to wins. Right. You see that happening with the Suns. You know what I'm saying? They just put these puzzle pieces together, but they don't fit. You seen that happening with the Bull. I mean, with the Nets twice.
I'm gonna say
no, I'm sorry. You seen that happening with the Nets twice. I mean, now granted, the first stint it was KG and PG, but they were old. Not to say they ain't fit; they were just old. But then you put Kevin Durant, Kyrie, James Harden together, thinking it doesn't fit. You know what I'm saying? But what I love is that all of these teams that were built from the ground up, you look at OKC, who was built from the ground up, and a bunch of young cats. You see Denver, who was built from the ground up, and they added a couple pieces that made sense. You see the Knicks, thank God, finally, who stopped trying to get the big tier guy that they feel like is going to be the savior and started putting teams together. Because at the end of the day, teams wins games. And I think that's the shift you're seeing. So this is probably going to be the first time where you actually see, a lot of teams that don't got like crazy superstars on there, like representing the playoffs. And I ain't going to hold you. I prefer that because that's producing a better basketball game. Because I ain't going to hold you, bro. Like the NBA playoffs this year has been trash. Actually, the last couple of years have been pretty trash because what you're getting, and this is outside of the Knicks and outside of the 76ers, what you're getting is you're getting a blowout here, you're getting a blowout there. If this team blows you out tonight, the other team's going to blow you out tomorrow. Like Miami Heat is down Butler, and they just blew out who they playing? The Celtics, right? With all of their stars. Now tonight, it's the opposite. That's not competitive, bro. What the Knicks are doing with the 76ers, that's a competitive game. You know what I'm saying? With the Denver, even in Denver, the Denver Lakers game, it was a competitive game. I appreciate that. So I think it's not a change of the guard. I think it's just a change of the overall team. And I think a lot of GMs and owners are going to start looking at this format and using it.
So the changing of the guard comes in a couple different ways, and you kind of broke it down the right way. It doesn't even have to be player to player. It could be the fact of just the changing of the guard of how things were. We did go through a period of mega teams.
Right.
Who can I get on my team next?
Right.
Well, when they changed around that whole budgeting with that money line, and they said, okay, you could bring in, let's go to the Suns, a KD, a Bill, and have Devin Booker there, but you ain't gonna have no bench. See how you flow with that. And they see that they can't do it. They can't run it that way. By the way, asterisks, I never thought Bill was that third person for them anyway. So whatever they were thinking with that, I'll just let them do their thing. You have 2 shooting guards that like to shoot.
Yep.
So
same size.
You figure that out.
Yeah.
But this also brings out the fact of coaching. Coaching matters. We've said it plenty of times. Coaching matters. I love to see a team like Miami that had pretty much nobody on the court, everybody's hurt and things like that, still pull out a win against a team that they shouldn't have been able to do so and hang in there because Spoelstra. You know what I mean? Like, he's a great coach. Man. I don't care what nobody says. He's a great coach with a team that shouldn't be doing what they've been doing the last couple of years. Thibodeau. I love Tibbs, and I'm a Bulls fan telling you that. How have you ever heard of a coach that runs their players too much? You're professional, making millions of dollars. Get on the court. That's how he got away from the Bulls. And then the same thing on the Minnesota side. Now he's with a team that respects him, respects what he's putting out there, give him the time to build these guys up, get the right players in. How do you feel about that whole Donovan Mitchell thing now? Because old boy is rocking. It's exciting again. We can go back to the conversation also that Eric and Earl had offline about a year ago when he said, when the Knicks and teams like that are doing very well, it's a different feel. It's a different feel, bro. And I'm not a Knicks fan. It's a different feel. It
Absolutely.
is. Yeah. So when you see these things coming together, that could be the changing of the guard. The other changing of the guard now is the NBA ready for those 3 players that you had up there to not be there anymore? Are they putting in place what they're going to market off of? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's going to be the next step that they have to push, because maybe it's not just the couple mega stars that are out there, which would be a good thing.
But you know what, Dave? Honestly, if the NBA is smart, which I know they are, and it's funny because they're just about to close in on this mega deal with Amazon that I just saw.
Yep, I saw that.
But if the NBA is smart, what they need to be paying attention to is, you know what? You've been riding the coattails of a Steph Curry, of a Durant, of a LeBron, and these guys are slowly getting out of here. They ain't got that much time. What you want to start doing, and it makes it easier, is instead of riding the coattails of of 1 to 2 players, it's easier if you ride the coattails of a team, because this way, as long as they continue to build, and if it's publicity and stuff around them, and people keep the blueprint, that's more sustainable than you trying to ride the coattails of one player. And if you look at it, the NBA has been doing that since David Stern put the blueprint in with Magic and Larry. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, that's cool. But my thing is, you don't have them type of players no more, bro. That's coming out that are like standouts, like a Jordan or like a Bird. You know what I'm saying? That's coming in. Yeah. That's coming in with a storyline and things of that nature. Somebody you getting excited about. Like you don't have that. Like even the Anthony Edwards, right? Mm-hmm. Anthony Edwards ain't really get hot, and you ain't really know about him until he got to the league. You know what I'm saying? Like he's athletic, but you ain't know like what you was getting in him. You know what I'm saying? With Ja, yeah, Ja was excited in college. I'm gonna use him. Ja was excited in college. Even Steph Curry. You didn't know how he was going to translate. You saw him kicking off. You saw him kicking up in the conference. In the tourney and stuff like that. But he was.
And then they provided the story for you.
And then they provide exactly. So, like I said, I think this actually comes to the advantage of the NBA. It's just about seeing how they move. Because like now I'm seeing commercials with the Knicks for the Knicks on. On mainstream, like not on MSG, but like I'm like, oh, okay, got it.
I agree. I'll say this: I believe this is a changing of the guard, but I'm gonna take a different view of this. For the longest time, for whatever reason, the NBA was trying to push and trying to make Kawhi Leonard, who's a small forward / shooting guard, the face of the league, the next Jordan. They even compete with, all the nerds start doing the analytical things like he's this and whatever. Nice. But what was the problem? He can't stay fucking healthy. Anthony Edwards is that change of the guard. He is in that realm of the 90s guard / small forwards, the Kobe's. I don't give a shit. It came down to the fact that he said, loosely quoting, that Kevin Durant is his favorite player of all time. At the same time, just like Kendrick Lamar said, I'm usually homeboys with all the cats I rap with, but I'm trying to murder all these niggas. Anthony Edwards like, he's my favorite player of all time, but I'm going to bang on his ass, and he did it multiple times. Yep. I love that.
All them out. Yeah.
Forget all the three-pointer. They tried to make Jason Tatum, another light-skinned cat. Drake, Jason Tatum, about to say, one of the highest paid players in the league. They tried to make him the face of the league. He don't want it. He don't want this. What I mean by this, he doesn't want this thing of I'm that guy. You can watch Jason Tatum. His game is nice-ish, but he played for Duke, so it ain't gonna be so nice.
I don't think it's. I'm sorry, Coach. I don't think it's necessarily that he don't want it. I don't think he got it. I don't think he got it. Anthony Edwards don't necessarily want it. He not asking for it, but I think it ain't about him asking.
What do you mean?
In terms of being the face.
No, not the face. What I mean that is like he wants the challenge of being that guy in the moment.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of Anthony Edwards wants that.
Anthony Edwards got that dog in him.
He got that dog, right? Jason Tatum, he don't have that. People want him to have it, but he don't
the NBA wants him to have it, though, is what I'm saying.
Nah, but you can't manufacture it. Right. I think the other thing, too, is like, and I wish I could figure out what the episode was. I've been rocking with Anthony Edwards as long as he came into the league. Because I remember it was an interview that happened. And I think I remember telling y'all, I was like, yo, we was talking about like who's the up and coming.
I remember what you're talking about.
And I was like, yo, I like this kid because I was like, he's a throwback. I was like, it was something he said in there, but he just had the mentality. Like, he wasn't soft. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, he ain't sitting up here complaining. He ain't doing no Anthony Davis shit where you barely touch you and then you sitting up there like, yo, that shit irked my mother. Oh, my God.
Before we transition, I'll say this, and this may be Y'all may or may not agree, but he just kind of played it. I don't believe that LeBron James ever wanted it. He wanted to play ball, but he never wanted to be that guy. Because remember that the whole Jordan thing, he never wanted that aspect of it. Even though the NBA wanted him to do that, you can tell that shit's uncomfortable. You can clearly see KD don't want it. Anthony Edwards and maybe shit, I don't even know anybody of this current.
I feel like Ja wanted.
Ja wanted, maybe Russell Westbrook wanted, but his game they want it, but they just don't have the game to support it. These other
Steph wanted it. Steph wanted.
He did, but he didn't, because if that was the case, he would never gave that shit up to KD. I'll just say that. Let's talk about Candace Parker, man. Candace Parker, man. We cannot leave this episode. I know we're going along because we'll move right along, but we cannot go away from this episode and not talk about the retiring of one of the most acclaimed WNBA athletes there was in Candace Parker, 3-time WNBA champion. She would have had quite a few more if she hadn't got injured. To be perfectly honest, man, retiring at the age of 38, which is still young in human life. Of course, we've seen her on the TNT broadcast and whatnot. But just what do you guys take away from? Because I feel like we've seen a lot of WNBA players retire, and it's been like ho hum. But what do you guys take away personally from Candace Parker?
I mean, shout out to Candace Parker. She got the same knees as I got. You know what I'm saying? When you got knocked knees, right? It's just injuries is going to happen. I mean, listen, take it from me. Injuries is going to happen. All right. But now, all jokes aside, now she had a dope career. I think with women have like, even especially playing the WNBA, women got to go through even more adversity, because it's like not only do you have injuries, but then you also figure like, all right, how many women have said, yeah, I want motherhood, what I'm saying? You get pregnant. So that takes you away from the game, because she also stepped away for a little bit because she had a daughter. So, but yeah, I think she's dope. I mean, it's no doubt that she's a Hall of Famer. And actually, I ain't gonna hold you, I actually thought she retired already, because like when I see her on what's the show with Shaq and Kenny and Barkley. Yeah, team. Like when she fills in when Barkley and Kenny is not there. I mean, she does her thing on there. Like she's a good piece, plugger or whatever. So I mean, clearly you about to see her second string
right
in her career, and it's ill that she's going to be making way more than she did playing in the league. Right. That's a whole nother story. Right. But yeah, I think she'll be okay. Like I said, she's a Hall of Famer. So man, kudos to her.
Absolutely.
Candace Parker reminded me of, especially when she was younger, that person that you be at the park, you hooping, and that one girl is sitting on the side, got everything on, got the sneaks on, everything, talking about let me get in, and everybody looking over like, ain't no girls on the court, but you need another player.
Right.
And you pull that one girl onto that court, and all of a sudden she whoops everybody's ass.
Absolutely.
And Candace Parker was that person. I didn't see a female playing. I just seen a baller the whole time, her whole career. I mean, shoot, when I just break down some of this stuff right here, ranked 9th, this is in WNBA history, ranked 9th history as far as career points, 3rd in career rebounds, 2nd in career defensive rebounds, 7th in career assists, 5th in career blocks, 7th in career made field goal. I mean, everything is top 5, top 10.
Yeah,
everything. Just breaking it down.
Absolutely.
She's one of the best to ever do it. And I don't even want to put just like female on it. She's one of the best ball players to do it, because when you throw it all together, you just got to know how to ball. You know what I mean? She did a thing. And I think, as Earl alluded to, I think she's going to shine even more in her second career here, because she's going to get paid more, and she's very well fit to do what she's about to go into as far as broadcasting. So,
and that's if they stay on TNT. But you guys saw this is like a not so.
She can go anywhere she wants.
2.5 billion $2.5 billion NBC has sent to the league to get the rights of the NBA so they can kind of like push TNT to the side. How crazy.
And they better bring Shaq and all them over there with them.
You're going to see how this going to go.
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah, we're going to see how that goes, man. Like, we going to see, man. Real quick, man, let's get into some video games.
I got to knock. I got to announce your breaking news.
Yeah, that's a big. Oh shit! You got. Oh, I didn't.
This is the first for me. This is the first
in the state of niggerdom.
Oh, not so breaking news.
Hey, yeah. Can I get that split screen? Like y'all be doing for day? Yeah, not like put me in the middle or something.
You want the middle?
Yeah, move yourself out. Give me the same. Give me the same treatment that you
want us out.
Yeah, give me that treatment.
You want a solo screen? That's what you want?
Yeah, that you give for him when he doing the corner.
My bad.
Yeah, thank you. Damn.
This guy's the worst.
Hey y'all, what's up? This is my first one, so be easy with me. So Ryan Garcia, it was just reported that he failed his doping test the day before and the day of the upset win over Devin Haney. They're saying that this is reported by the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association. The substance that they found in his system was called Ocitarian. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but apparently he has 10 days to request his B sample to be tested. So I just also, so you can take me off now. I just saw too when y'all were just talking. He just addressed on his page, these allegations, and he was saying that essentially that is bullshit. He was like, I've never taken any PEDs. I don't even know what the hell this is. He was like, just people that's just sitting up here trying to kind of discredit him and his camp. But he was like, man, he's putting it in God's hands. So pretty much saying it is foolishness. So
that shit sound like some medicine that you see when you then fell asleep during the game. You wake up at 2 a.m. and then it's like, some shit that cause mud butt and all that. Mm-hmm. It's not like one of those drugs because I don't even know what half the shit comes up. Anything I know that shit don't sound right.
I put it to you this way. I'm not gonna say that he did anything. I mean, because at the end of the day, like skill is skill. You know what I'm saying?
But what does it do?
I don't know. Skill is skill.
He's still tied to De La Hoya, right?
Yeah. Skill is skill. But I'll leave
my opinion off of that then.
What does it do though? Like I'm confused.
I don't know. Skill is skill. But at the end of the day, like even with, and people might disagree with me, but it is what it is. When Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire was going crazy with the 71, hitting the home runs out of the park, right?
One of the most exciting times.
Barry Bonds and all, hitting it, the most exciting time in MLB in a boring ass sport unless you play it. You know what I'm saying? Even though, yes, they were jacked up, so the power was there. At the end of the day, your hand-eye coordination and your timing still had to be great.
Absolutely.
And that has nothing to do with any steroids or anything that you were taking.
Which the steroids is just really for recovery is really what that does and healing muscle issues.
But also, it increases your strength as well. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of in the sport of baseball where you need time to make the connection with the bat and the ball, it's like that has nothing to do with that. So it's like, all right, I can understand where they're like, yeah, they juicing. But at the end of the day, like it's so much stuff that goes, it's so much other mechanics and things that was taken away from them that I'm just like, yo, that's like, relax. So the same thing in this situation, even that I don't really think that he did anything intentional. Because with athletes, bro, and their recovery and all this stuff, they trainers giving them all types of crap that they probably don't even know what the hell is in there. And then you could get something that has some kind of other chemical that might be banned that's in the substance that's not banned, if that makes sense. So let's just say, for example, like Tylenol. If Tylenol has another chemical in there that's actually on the ban list, but the Tylenol itself is not banned, like you get hemmed up like that too. So it's like, this is bullshit. It's bullshit.
I'll say it like this. they can say what they want about that. Like, so I'll use me and Dave for an example because we're probably kind of we're saying we're in the same weight class ish. I'll say, right?
Bullshit.
Well, I'll say. we probably are.
Bullshit.
We're probably are. So I'll say, Dave, you and I are gonna fight this coming Saturday, right? So we got to meet a agreed weight at 185 or something like that. And then I throw into this on top of that, after we meet weight, we can't have a rehydrate. We have a rehydration clause in that. So you're cutting weight. People forget that's what Ryan, and I'm not a Ryan Garcia fan, but I watched what was happening. He had to make weight in that tank fight. And there was a I think a no rehydration or no rehydration clause, meaning you cut all that weight and then you're not allowed to rehydrate because it'll put you overweight. Bro, have you ever lost in a test? You ever sat in a sauna and see how you felt after being in there?
Ain't nobody gonna tell me I can't drink no goddamn water. You hear me? That's all I know. Ain't nobody gonna tell me I can't drink no damn water.
Right. But, so for you to come at me with some like a medicine I took, what's the difference between that and say, hey, you got to cut weight to this and you can't rehydrate after that? Bruh.
Hey, hit me with the not so breaking news real quick.
Let's get it. You know, because we're on the roll right now.
Not so breaking news.
So, hey, put me in the middle. Stop. No. I'm joking. All right. So we spoke about this, and I think we spoke it into existence. We had a show not too long ago where we were talking about is the state of gambling getting too wild. Well, did you hear that Dave & Buster's will begin allowing customers to bet on arcade games? I'm going to say that again. Dave & Buster's will begin allowing customers to bet on arcade games. Customers can soon make a friendly $5 wager on Hot Shots basketball game, a bet on skee ball competition, or another arcade game. So I'm saying I could drop Cam off at Dave & Buster's, and either he comes out with some money or I come up and hold somebody.
Is there an age limit on this?
I got to look more into it for that. But just the fact that you're telling me kids are up in there putting $5 down on the table, talking about I can hit 20. Now I can hit 21.
Lunch money, kid gonna come back home hungry as shit because he done lost all his
black
lunch
eye.
money.
Could you imagine me taking my 5-year-old, soon to be 6-year-old, to David Buster's? He's like, Daddy, I want to play this game. Like, it just whatever. The aesthetics of it is just what's attracting him. He don't know what the hell he's doing. I'm looking on here. I see him pressing button. Well, wait. You just bet $5. Hold on. Now I got to help you now.
If it's on skee ball though, no Diddy, I'll tear your ass up on some skee ball. Hey, put down your $5, $10. You know what I'm saying? One more time, no Diddy.
Man,
that's
you got it, bro. You ain't tearing shit up over here. It.
So that's why I gave you the prerequisites. You know what?
Some things you, like Dave said, some things you can't say in that video.
We about to get Hot Seat Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. Of course, this podcast wouldn't be what it is, man. We hadn't taken our Xbox Live conversation over to the podcast space almost 4 years ago now and give you guys all this great content. Episode 146. Roll right into it. That being the case, you can find me on Xbox Live at Sinai2X. I actually downloaded it's not even new, but it's on Game Pass now. The Star Wars Survivor joint.
I just did that too.
Yes, gotta play. That shit was, first of all, I don't know what the hell's going on with my connection. I think the random power outages has messed things up, so I had to reset everything. That shit took forever and a day. It was like 106 gigs, but yeah, I definitely got it. Got all these crazy Game of the Year awards, so I'm ready to dive directly into that. And for you guys who've been listening to the pod, yes, I have made it to the majors in MLB show, the 24, just to let you know. So not 2X, yeah, absolutely. What you got there?
Whoop-de-doo.
The storyteller. I'm not going to talk about gaming right now because of what I already said.
I respect it. I respect it, dog. NJ Fatboy 973. Due to my buddy not being on, I haven't been on. Ain't gonna lie, it's been a long week. I got on here today because our other buddy had hit me up, but it was like I was rushing. I kind of waited. I even text Dave earlier. I'm like, "Hey, bud," because I was home today. I said, "Hey, buddy, are you able to get back on?" He was like, maybe like 30 minutes later he hit me back. Yeah, I played basketball, but I can't get on those ones. I was like, all right, man, that sucks. Yeah, and then that was that.
We could have played spades or something. You need to hit me up. Say, man, you want to get on?
Sean, absolutely not. Sean, if you're probably playing some fucking game that you just saw, like, I don't know.
It's great.
Flipping rocks or some shit. I don't know. Some game.
I'll probably finish Star Wars by the weekend, something like that.
You can finish all of them, but you can't be in these leagues and shit. Can't play goddamn game in these leagues.
I don't like these.
When we get college football.
Oh, you don't worry about that. I will be there for that shit. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, well, that's
we have to talk about you not being there. Hey, Earl, we got a game to play. We got a game to play, Earl. We got a game. We got 2 games. You know what? Go ahead and play the game, bro. Because
but at least I don't hold you up. I just say, yo, go ahead and push it.
That defeats the whole purpose.
We gotta sit up here and wait for you just to lose.
You have to defeat the whole purpose. Here's the thing, though. I don't lose. So make sure you guys become a supporter of the Hot Seat Podcast Plus, where you guys can get exclusive content like our Hot Seat Podcast present hot takes episodes, as well as get 20% off of Hot Seat Podcast merchandise. Whether you're going to the links in the show or you're just going directly to the Hot Seat podcast.com. Again, Mother's Day is right around the corner. We're about 10 days out. And if all you guys barbecuing and you ain't trying to leave the house, hey, just go to the link in the show notes to get 35 or get free delivery on your first order over $35 with Instacart, and let them know the Hot Seat Podcast sent you. Anything else we got? We didn't get to the draft recap. Real quick, what did you give your Giants their grade? Real quick. Just give them an A through F.
B+.
I gave him a B.
I give Washington a B+. It would have been an A if they had drafted Cooper DeJean. Sons of bitches.
I would have gave the Giants a B, but I gotta give them a B+ because I thought they were gonna do the dumb shit with number 6. So yeah. I give them an extra credit.
Actually, with y'all, Sean, you said you gave them a B.
I give them a B+.
Okay, I'm gonna give them a B because actually a B- because you dum-dums sat up there and traded back to let with your division rivals, knowing good and well that they was about to pick up Cooper DeJean, and then you take an undersized cornerback. Like
that's why I gave him a B+. But they did get the defensive tackle that should have been the first round. They got him a second round. Good value there.
Y'all had a good draft though.
I will say this: everybody get off of Atlanta. They know what the fuck they're doing. Michael Penix Jr. went to Atlanta, and for everybody,
they disrespectful giving them like C's and shit.
Yeah, because you know what? Goddamn, Kirk ain't won shit. He got all that money. He ain't won shit. So get the fuck out of here with that.
Hey, Kirk need to stop. Kirk need to stop. I'm sorry. This is again like I hate to put race in this shit, but this shit irks my soul. Like. This is that entitled, like the caucasity. This is the entitlement, bro. Like, dog, you are making $160 million as a 36-year-old quarterback who's won what are you 1 and 2 in the playoffs?
And coming off an ACL,
and you have the audacity to be upset, bro. You are getting
mitigating
$100 million. Like you have the audacity to get upset saying, "Oh, I didn't know you guys." What? The GM and my man and the coach, my man from Irvington, Raheem, y'all did the right thing. Yeah, Raheem, like y'all did the right thing, bro.
Right? Because if they don't make it past a wild card round or like a divisional round, you still gonna get looked at like, why y'all give him all that money if he's still
exactly.
So you damn if you damn if you don't.
And if I'm Raheem, I'm like, listen, let me tell you something. I want no more lip out of you. Like I want no more lip. And if you keep talking, if this young buck outplays you, you're gonna be sitting the pine. Because I ain't bring your ass in here. With that, I'm complete.
This first black quarterback they draft. This is Michael Vick. I hope he ain't got no pit bulls. That's all I'm saying.
The Hot Seat.